So I did a video yesterday explaining how this UFO video supposedly showing pyramid-shaped craft might just be bokeh, out of focus highlights from a taped over lens cover, which some people sometimes do. People ask me though, if this is bokeh, if this shape is bokeh, why aren't all the shapes in this scene bokeh? Why aren't these stars in the background that's shaped the same as this one? If this is just a point light source, why aren't these stars shaped the same? And of course, that's something you'd expect to be true. If you look at this photo I took earlier with a triangle-shaped cover, these are stars. Every single star in the scene is a triangle. So why isn't that true in the green video? Well, these are not stars. What you see here are actually just little points of light, and you can see that if you single step through it. I'm going through it one frame at a time. You see every frame, or every other frame, because the frame rate is different. Like here's a bunch of stars, but they're not really stars. You keep going and they vanish and everything appears in a completely different place. So that explains that. That explains why those shapes aren't exactly the same. Some people are not too sure about these two shapes here. There's two shapes over on the left, and they think they're not exactly the same. But I think if you kind of zoom out and you let it play through, you see they are pretty much the same. And certainly they're consistent with the same shape. You see when this one gets dim, it's not really recognizable as a triangle, and these two over here start out very dim. But then the one people bring up then is right at the start. We have these shapes, and they are not triangle shapes, or at least not quite as nice triangle shapes as we might see in the other places. I think arguably they are actually triangle shapes. You can kind of see, like, you've got the base here and the two sides and the triangle, just like you see later in the exact same angles. But let's have a closer look at that. Go back to the start. We've got these two shapes. Now I'm just going to split the screen here so I have two copies of this video, and keep this one on these two right at the start, and let's just forward this one until the flashing object arrives, which is supposedly as a triangle shape. So there it is. You see eventually it turns into a triangle, but back here when it first arrives, it's this shape. Let's zoom in, see what that looks like. Well, it doesn't look like very much, really. In fact, it looks pretty much like this shape. So when you're not zoomed in, when you can see the outer circle in these two videos, the triangles are kind of like blurred out because of the low resolution. You can see these pixels around the sides. Very, very low resolution video that's kind of been upscaled. And so they look exactly the same. So there's no difference between any of the lights that are actual lights in the scene. For any given zoom level, they're all exactly the same. And we can take this one here, I think, and move it on to the next time it flashes. There it is. And zoom in on that now, and you can see again it's really not too different from these over here. So the answer to the question, why isn't everything a triangle? Everything actually is a triangle, or at least as much as a triangle as you can see with this crappy low resolution video. And the things that are just points of light are just scintillation. It's the light intensifier tube just firing off random photons or random electrons, just because it's trying very, very hard to get things out of the darkness. And so you get these little dots. They're not stars. And that's it.